everyone, and welcome to Elevating Your Life. We are going to elevate so high today. I am just so happy to share with you today Anton Grosz. He was born into a Jewish, profoundly atheist family. He denied anything religious for the first half of his life. In 1978, at the age of 37, he discovered spirituality through a near-death experience, going through a tunnel into the light and experiencing a reality different and greater than anything he had ever thought possible. Since then, he has devoted his life to studying different spiritual paths, leading meditation practice, and helping those at the end of life. Anton received his PhD from the California Institute of Integral Studies in the Evolution of Human Consciousness. He is a practitioner of phenomenology, an ordained interfaith minister, a retired hospice chaplain, and a certified home care provider. He has written numerous books. His first, Letters to a Dying Friend, What Comes Next? And it has an introduction by the Dalai Lama. And his second book, How Do I Live When I Know I'm Going to Die?, was distributed through a national hospice and palliative care organization. And his latest book that we're going to talk about today is Handbook for a New Consciousness, The Next Step in Human Evolution. Oh my goodness, welcome, Anton.
Well, hi there, Paula. Thank you so much for the invite. It's my pleasure to be here.
So happy to have you here. And oh, what amazing books you've written. Oh my gosh. I would love, because it's something I am very fascinated with and have met others over the years experiencing near-death experiences. My dad actually had one. Please share what that was like for you and how profound that was.
Well, it's really quite an amazing experience. It was due to a lack of oxygen. Um, and I don't mean that I was holding my breath in, and, with a lung full of oxygen for a while, but I had no air inside at all. And as I did not breathe. I was unable to breathe. And I began to feel my body shaking like I was in an earthquake. And then I felt like I was drowning, like I was in a flood. And then I felt like I was burning up like in a fire. And I later learned, from the Tibetans who had written the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that these are the first three steps of dying: separating from the earth element, separating from the water element, and separating from the fire element. The next step is to separate from the air element, which I already had done because I hadn't been breathing for several minutes and had no air in my lungs. So the only thing that was connecting me to my body was the ether element. And that sounds pretty nebulous to me. In any event, I saw this, I felt like I was dying. And I thought to myself, no, God's not going to let me die while I'm searching for him. And I said, who said that? Because I wasn't a believer. I saw this little light at the top of my head, and it started getting bigger and bigger. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is what, Raymond Moody wrote about in Life After Life, going through the tunnel that the people experience. And suddenly I came out the other side into a space of the brightest, most intense light I could ever imagine. I felt multiple dimensions, all right? Not just three dimensions plus time, but more. I can't explain, I can't point to them because we're just in a three-dimensional space now, but there they were. And suddenly I could breathe again. And And I rolled off. I was lying on the floor. My body was spasming on the floor like I was in an epileptic fit. But inside, I was at such peace and calm. It was unbelievable. If I tilted my head one way, I was in the room where I was. Tilted my head the other way, I went back in space. Earth became this tiny little ball, and it turned into a yin yang symbol that, and I suddenly knew that everything in the universe is balanced. It was unbelievable. When I could finally control my body and speak, I was on my knees with my hands like this, and my first words were, I am reborn. I am reborn in God. And I was so embarrassed to hear me say that because because I had been an atheist ever since I was a little boy. There you go.
Oh,
And my life went boom, a right turn. At that moment, it changed everything.
wow. Wow. That is so amazing. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
myself was a preemie baby, less than 3 pounds, and survived. And I've always believed God wanted me to be here, and I'm going to be grateful and be a positive energy. We get messages in different ways.
We do. Well, that's the key. Well, that's also what the book is about, to let people have that, learn and feel and experience what I did without having to die to do so. You know.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Tell us more.
Well, as I say, I believe when you read something or you hear someone talk, you can learn about that thing. But the only way to really know something is to experience it for yourself on the inside. So in the book, as a phenomenologist, I've come up with games and mind puzzles and exercises and thought programs that allow you to ask yourself the questions and feel and experience the changes until you will have that aha moment without having to go through a near death experience to do that. And the goal, the hope is that we all realize that we are connected. And, this is the beautiful thing, Paul, that nothing out there has to change for the world to change. Just how we look at it. Let's say you and I and all your viewers and listeners went out to look at the stars. But let's say it was the year 1500, right? We look at the stars, and there's no question that the Earth is in the center of the universe because we can see it with our own eyes, right? In one night, all the stars circle the Earth. And during the day, the sun circled the Earth and the moon circled the Earth. And it's so clear we're in the center. And then this guy, Copernicus, comes up with the idea that Earth rotates. And all of a sudden, everything we see out there is exactly the same, but we understand it differently. And that's what this book is about. When you say I am and I say I am, our I ams don't just feel the same, they are the same I am. And anything we say after that, male, female, black, white, old, young, rich, poor, they're just adjectives that change as we grow older or our belief systems or whatever. But the I am is constant. That's always there.
Change. Ah,
And that's who we truly are, each and every one of us.
wow. So that I am, and it doesn't change from birth as we age and connect and, changes in our lives. That I am doesn't change, does it?
That's amazing. It really, when you think about it, you know, people think, oh, I am my thoughts, I'm my ideas, my emotions. This is what part of what this is what the 12-step approach is all about in AA, that I am not my thoughts or addictions. I have thoughts, I have addictions, but I am the thing inside. One of the exercises I have in the book is looking at yourself in the mirror and relating to that person in there. Chances are you're exactly the same as that person in the mirror, except of course if you're left-handed, they're right-handed. That's kind of weird, but you realize you're the only person in the world who needs to look a mirror to see what you look like, but that's another story. Um, but another exercise after that is take a picture of yourself as a child and look at it. And you used to be exactly the same. There was a time when you looked in the mirror and you saw that person and you were exactly, but you're not the exact same anymore. You know different things. You might like different foods. You know people that person didn't know. But in both cases, you look at that picture and you said, I am. And you felt that, and that feeling was exactly the same.
Isn't that both beautiful and amazing?
I think so. I mean, look how boring it would be if we were all exactly the same, if all of our adjectives were the same, But now we can do different things, and the joy is to think of doing things not just for this person, this body, but for all of us. What I have, my skills and talents can be used and should be used for the good of all. And when we all do that, what a wonderful, peaceful world it will be.
Yes, yes. Something that you've said that I absolutely love. We are not separate leaves. We are one tree.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
love
we are at our core. Look, what if what if there were eyes on the end of the fingers? And they looked out and they saw the thumb coming and they said, you stupid thumb coming from all the way over there. Take that, 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 that. And they scratched the thumb and the thumb got all bloody and infected and the infection went up through the hand, back up into the fingers. Would the fingers have scratched the thumb if they knew that they would be infected by the very thing that they were doing? I don't think so. Shouldn't humans be as smart as our fingers? When we realize we're all connected, that hurting you is hurting me, I won't do that anymore. We won't hurt each other. We'll use our talents and skills for the good of all. And that was the original intention, wasn't it?
that. That's that's powerful words. That's huge. Yeah. Hurting you is hurting me because we're connected.
Exactly, exactly. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when we look at the news and we see a child starving and hungry in Gaza. Does it matter what religion they are or what religion we are? No. Our heart wells. We feel for that. And this is the different belief systems shouldn't matter. There are many ways to find the truth, Paula. The only person you have to fear is the person who says, my way is the only way.
Ah, yes, I love that. And, it can be so amazing, can't it, Anton, when you show kindness joy, caring to others, that can just radiate and spread.
It's like a pebble dropped into a pool. It radiates out. We may not be able to stop the wars around the world or the unrest in this country, but we can make life better. Here's a great little story, if I may. Back when I lived in San Francisco, I took the bus downtown one day, and I'm an old guy, so I sat and I was sitting in the sideways seat right behind the driver. And it was early in the morning. People were going to work, and it was crowded, and people were standing. And there was this one young woman standing in front of me who was too short. She couldn't reach the bar high above, and it was too crowded for her to reach the pole in the front. So every time the bus started or stopped, she would shake and go like this. Well, I looked at the guy next to me, and he had a briefcase on the floor in front of his feet. And I looked and I said, "Excuse me, sir, if you put that briefcase on your lap, this young woman can take a half step forward and she'll be able to reach that pole and it'll be a lot safer." And he turns to me and he says, "Like that's going to solve all the problems of the world." And without even thinking, my reaction was, "No, it's not, but it will solve the problems in this little corner of the world." Well, he looked at the woman next to him, and she must have been his wife, because she looked at him and she, with a look like, "If you know what's good for you, you're going to put that on your lap." And he did. And the young woman stepped forward. She was able to reach the pole, and for the rest of the ride down, you know, she felt safer. And that's what we can do. It's another thing, according to the Tibetans, when you die, there's a libra with a scale, hanging scale, and they put a white pebble for every good thing you did and a black pebble for every bad thing you did. And depending on which one is heavier, that's what you get in your next lifetime. Okay? But if you do something nice for someone, you'll get a white pebble. But if as a result of something you've done, that person does something nice for someone else, you get a white pebble for that one too. So it builds and it grows. And we can have, just by doing a little thing here, we can have the most wonderful effect out there.
I love it. I love it. That is so awesome. Oh, and Anton, something about your book that I just love, and you can share with everyone, that you do amazing, you share exercises, games, puzzles. Tell the audience about that, what they're going to find in your book.
Well, that's what they will find. It's a chance to. It took me 37 years or so to write, 40 years or so to write this book. But that's because it's not enough to hear someone else speaking of something. You have to experience it yourself. So just like looking into the mirror and comparing yourself with that person, and then looking at the picture of yourself as a child and comparing, you suddenly realize that the feeling of I am is the same, even though all that outer stuff differs. Um, there are so many different things that go on. I don't want to give away spoilers, because you want to try the different puzzles and games in there to see and experience yourself when you think, "Oh, this is the answer to that." And then you realize, no, it doesn't have to be. Just the same way, looking at the sky in the 1500s before Copernicus, we were sure that everything rotated around Earth. But then one little change in the way we think, and everything out there is different. In the same way, you suddenly realize that when a light goes on in your mind, it doesn't have to be that a light went on and you created that light, but maybe a lens opened up and a light came in from somewhere else. Once it's in your head, you never know the difference of where it came from.
Wow.
So do the test, find out yourself, and whatever your belief system, that's cool. If whatever your religion, if you like it, stick with it. And you'll find it through that path. And if you are a scientist and you don't believe in any religion at all, that's okay. You'll find it through quantum physics. It's all there.
I love it. I love it. And with your book, being called Handbook for a New Consciousness, tell us, for anyone out there that's like, what would a new consciousness be for me? How would you describe that, Anton?
I would describe new consciousness as the awareness that inside we are all connected. I am not saying this for the very first time. Masters and gurus and teachers have said it for years. Jesus said it in, John John 14:6, where he says, "I am the way." You know, I hate to say this, but you know that Jesus did not speak English. He spoke Aramaic, and the Aramaic that was translated into Latin and then into English as "I am the way" could also have been translated as "I am is the way." All right. And in Luke 17:21, where it says, "The kingdom of God is within you," that's the exact same thing that we're talking about here. Jesus taught it that you find God within, find the oneness within. And all the other different languages, there are so many different names for God. My favorite, I got to share, Paula, is Satchitananda. Satchitananda is an ancient Hindu term made up of three Sanskrit words: Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. I'm aware that I am, wow. And this is the ancient Hindu name for God. I'm aware that I am, wow. The feeling of joy and peace. And we each have that feeling inside us.
Yeah.
Imagine, how can you hurt someone when you feel that inside yourself and you know that they are that same being inside themselves, just with different shape, look outside themselves? Somebody who's got a different shape, shaped body, a different color skin, speaks a different language, believes in a different name for God. That doesn't make them a bad person. It makes them a different person.
Mm-hmm.
And how much more fun it is having all these different people around who love each other. It's so much more fun.
Yes, yes. And it can be such a beautiful thing to connect to so many people, and
Yeah. Your thing is happiness, right?
Yeah.
May I hopefully have time. I want to share one more story.
Yes, we have
with you.
about 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, I'll try and keep it down there. It's my 8th birthday party. And my Aunt Claire comes up and she says, "What do you want to be?" And I say, "I want to be happy." And my mother's walking past at the time and she stops and she says, "You can't be happy. You have to be something." Well, let me tell you, despite my mother's words, and I love my mother dearly, that may be one of the pivotal moments of my life. because truthfully, that's all I've ever wanted to be, happy from within. All right. And all the things that I do, the things that I like doing that make me happy are the things that I'm good at. The things I'm good at are the things I enjoy doing. How wild is that? How it works out together. We each have our own specialty. That's what makes it so beautiful. So much more fun.
Oh, isn't that so true? We each have, our specialty, our beauty, our uniqueness, and that is something to celebrate, isn't it, Anton?
Absolutely. And Paul, I've got three rules of life. Very simple. Rule one, be happy. Rule two, be kind. Rule three, that's it. If you're happy on the inside and you're kind on the outside, what else do you need?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I agree. I agree. This is so fantastic. Please
Thank
share
you.
with everyone your website and what they can learn about you and contact you even if they'd like.
Well, thank you, Paul. My website is antongrosz.com, ANTONGROSZ.com, or for those of you in Canada, GROSZ.com. And you can write to me there. Any question, I'd love to hear from you. My book is available, a handbook for a new consciousness, on any number of online booksellers. And I'd love to have you contact me, let me know what you thought about it, write me a review, and spread the word, because it's about all of us loving each other, and making this the beautiful world it was ultimately designed to be by the Creator.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, yes. Oh, we will end the show with loving each other. I love it. And just being a positive, kind energy in the world. Anton, I am so grateful to have had you on the show. We may have to do another one down the road.
Well, thank you, Paul. It was my pleasure. We are not separate leaves. We are one tree, and I certainly feel that with you and all those people here today. Thank you so very much for the invite.
I'm so happy to be part of your tree, and everyone out there, I'm so happy to be part of your tree. Love,
Thank you.
hugs, and blessings to everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Peace.